Two boys entered the university with the same dream, but only one survived the system. What happened to the other will shock you. It was a Monday morning in the University of Awka. Students moved in groups, dragging boxes, laughing, shouting, and greeting one another. It was a new beginning. Among the crowd were two boys, Chinedu and Emeka. They were not brothers by blood, but they were close like brothers. They came from the same village, sat in the same bus, and shared the same dream: to graduate and make their families proud. "See this place," Emeka said, his eyes full of excitement. "This is where our life will change." Chinedu smiled, but his voice was calm. "Yes, but we must be careful too." Two boys entered the university with the same dream, but only one survived the system. What happened to the other will shock you. It was a Monday morning in the University of Awka. Students moved in groups, dragging boxes, laughing, shouting, and greeting one another. It was a new beginning. Among the crowd were two boys, Chinedu and Emeka. They were not brothers by blood, but they were close like brothers. They came from the same village, sat in the same bus, and shared the same dream: to graduate and make their families proud. "See this place," Emeka said, his eyes full of excitement. "I want to graduate with a good result," Chinedu said. "I don't want to disappoint my parents." Emeka nodded. "Me too. I want money, respect, a better life." Outside, loud music played. Some boys were drinking, others were shouting and laughing. The night was alive. But hidden inside that same night were choices that would change their lives forever. 2 weeks later, reality began. Lectures started, assignments came in. The excitement slowly faded and pressure replaced it. One evening, as Chinedu sat reading in their room, the door opened without a knock. 3 senior boys walked in. Their faces were serious. Their presence was heavy. "Freshers," one of them said. "How far?" Emeka forced a smile. "We are fine, sir." The tallest among them stepped forward. His voice dropped low. "School is not just about books. If you want protection, power, respect, you need to belong." The room became quiet. Emeka looked interested. "Belong to what?" The boy smiled slowly. "You already know." Chinedu's heart began to beat fast. He had heard stories back home, stories of fear, violence, and death. "I'm not interested," Chinedu said immediately. The boys turned to him. "You say what?" "I came here to study," Chinedu replied, trying to stay calm. The air changed instantly. The tallest boy stepped closer. "Be careful. This school is bigger than your village." Emeka quickly spoke to calm the situation. "He didn't mean it like that." The boys laughed lightly. "Think about it. We will come back." They walked out. The door closed. Silence filled the room. That night, Emeka could not sleep. What if they are right?
Chinedu turned to him. Right about what? This school is not safe. If we don't join them, who will protect us? Chinedu shook his head slowly. That is how it starts. Fear. Emeka sat up. But those guys have power. Nobody touches them. Chinedu looked straight at him. And what is the cost? Emeka did not answer. Days passed and the pressure grew stronger. Some students started avoiding Chinedu. Others mocked him. Village boy, they called him. One afternoon, a group of boys pushed him and his books fell to the ground. Students watched, but nobody helped. Chinedu picked up his books quietly and walked away. That night, Emeka spoke again. I joined them, he said softly. Chinedu sat up immediately. What? I joined them today. Chinedu felt something heavy drop in his chest. Why? Emeka looked away. I don't want to suffer here. Chinedu's voice became firm. You just chose a dangerous path. Emeka replied quietly. And you chose a lonely one. From that moment, everything changed. Emeka stopped attending lectures regularly. He moved with new friends, dressed differently, and came back late at night. Sometimes his clothes were stained. What happened? Chinedu asked one night. Nothing, Emeka replied. But his eyes told the truth. Meanwhile, Chinedu's life became harder. He was bullied, insulted, and ignored. Sometimes his food went missing. But he refused to give up. Every night he read. Every morning he went to class. He endured. One day, a lecturer stopped him. I've been watching you, the man said. You are serious. Keep going. That small encouragement gave him strength. But Emeka was going deeper into darkness. One rainy night, he rushed into the room, breathing heavily. Lock the door, he shouted. Chinedu quickly locked it. What happened? They attacked us, Emeka said, shaking. 2 of our guys are gone. Chinedu froze. Gone? Emeka nodded. Dead. The rain fell harder. Chinedu spoke softly. This is not what you came here for. Emeka held his head. I can't leave now. Chinedu looked at him with pain. You are already trapped. Time passed and fear followed Emeka everywhere. One day, Chinedu saw something that broke him. A young student was being beaten behind the hostel. The boy cried and begged. Among those beating him was Emeka. That night, Chinedu confronted him. Why are you doing this? You won't understand, Emeka replied. This is not survival, Chinedu said. This is destruction. Emeka laughed bitterly. You think your books will save you? Chinedu answered calmly. Yes. the wheel.
Years passed. The final year came. Chinedu stayed focused. Emeka lost control. One night, a violent clash broke out. Gunshots filled the air. Students ran in fear. Emeka tried to escape, but this time, he was caught. The next day, he was found badly injured. When Chinedu saw him at the clinic, his heart broke. "I told you," he whispered. Emeka looked weak. "I'm tired." Months later, graduation came. The campus was filled with joy. Chinedu stood proudly in his gown, honored and respected. His parents cried with joy. But Emeka sat alone in a small room. No gown, no celebration, no future. Years later, they met again. Emeka looked older than his age. Life had not been kind to him. "I made the wrong choice," he said. Chinedu nodded gently. "But you are still alive. You can still change." For the first time in years, hope returned to Emeka's eyes. Emeka sat quietly on the wooden bench, his hands trembling. From his old worn bag, he slowly brought out a photograph. The one they took on their very first day on campus at University of Awka. He and Chinedu were smiling in it, full of hope and dreams. Tears filled his eyes as he stared at it. "Where did I go wrong?" he whispered. His chest felt heavy. Regret wrapped around him like a chain. That night, he could not sleep. The next morning, with a broken heart, Emeka walked into a quiet church. He knelt down slowly, his voice shaking. "God, I am sorry," he cried. "I have made so many mistakes. Please forgive me. Give me another chance." Tears fell freely. From that day, Emeka made a decision. He started again. Slowly, painfully, but sincerely. He picked up small jobs, stayed away from bad influences, and began rebuilding his life one step at a time, with hope rising again in his heart.